Good morning. Well, you know what I said yesterday, and we got it. Maybe a little bit more than I had thought it would, but anyway, it came down there and filled the void. It's always the risk with a wide range bar, right? Meaning they're great. So wide range bars at support are say time to go, get on board, right? Likely it's going to continue. Now this isn't extended. So that's why part of yesterday was a surprise, meaning as much as it came down, but we'll get to that. Most of you know why, of course, that it came down as much as it did. So when we look at reversal patterns, one of the things we talk about is the depth of retracement into the prior bar, and did it close under the prior bar? So we kind of measuring how bearish it really was, right? Or if it's going the other way. If it didn't gap up significantly and give it all back, right? So call it a potent reversal. But it stopped, where it was supposed to stop. And so as we refer to the power of the void, and I also say the wide range bar is the weakest link in the chart. Because when they have these momentum moves, there's nothing to trade against. And it starts going toppy, which means, the toppy, the pivot highs and lows forming is supposed to result in moving up, right? Theoretically, the trend is up and then it breaks out as it creates support. Well, that didn't happen yesterday. And down it went, down it went, down it went until it reached the next pivot. And now it's stable there. Right? And now we've got a void up above. Can it reverse back up again? Of course. What would motivate it to do that? I have no idea. I don't know that it will. But then we'd have what Dan coined a bear sandwich, right? We would have a big green bar on the right and a red bar in the middle, and then the green bar on the left. And that's a bear sandwich. We'll see. However, right, remember, we teach a thought process. So, what is the thought process at this point? And students should know because, it's systematic, but we don't have time for that. Think about what I said yesterday. If you're paying attention, trying to, you know, put this together as to what I'm saying was, you see where this line is, right? Why did I put the line there yesterday? If it retraces, because yesterday's theme was the markets are ripe for a retracement. Okay, fine. They're going to retrace. Is it going to be a big deal? What's going to happen? We'll figure it out together. Well, wide range bar, open and close stay in the upper 50% of that bar. Ideally, the upper third. If it retraces all the way down, it forms a bottoming tail bar. That's not a bottoming tail bar. That's a big, nasty red bar. So now we've got a big red bar. If it's going to stay bearish, the open and close will stay in the lower 50%. If it retraces, it'll come back down again. If by some reason, institutions said, or traders said, oh, we made a mistake yesterday, we better buy. And they drive it back up again, like here, right? This kind of craziness. That's what bar by bar analysis is about. So right now, S&P futures are in an uptrend. They made an all-time high. We've got a red bar, right? A 180 reversal with a potent reversal. And one bar doesn't change the trend. Does not change the trend. It's just a bearish reversal. And you can see here the topping tail on the weekly. Right? We go over this, some of that in MT Live, and certainly in the courses, right? Deep retracement like that, condense it's going to form some other kind of bearish candle. Right? So we got a topping tail candle. Still, we got 3 days of trading to go. We don't know what this is going to look like at the end of the week. Nonetheless, there's plenty of support down here. As where your major support is, as where your minor support is. And if the pullback was to continue lower, right, the rising 20 MA, this consolidation there, this minor support. You can see where it is, and it all lines up with those pivot lows down there. So downside action, if it unfolds, you've got a bunch of reference points all in that area at 58.20 on the S&Ps. NASDAQ got hit a little harder. This broke out, looked good. It closed below the prior day's low marginally. You can see the break there under the pivots. And now you got other pivots down below here. As I move that, you see it's lined up with the rising 20 MA. So if it takes a little nosedive in the morning into that pivot, we're going to watch to see if it wants to stabilize and start pushing back up again. The Dow, big red bar, closed at the low, broke below the pivot here, kind of tweaked a little below that. So far it's holding. If it's going to go further, I see overlapping bars here and this minor support. You can see my cursor at the pivots on the 65-minute chart. And the 20 MA is a little below that. So those reference points are aligned. The Russell held up really well because financials did well yesterday. It kind of started out a little shaky, crazy, but anyway, this was an inside bar. I'll just got the topping tail bar, and this inside bar today is holding up even better. Okay. Let's move along these other futures here. Bitcoin doing good, coming back up to the top of the range. Well, that'll stall pretty soon. Gold still looks amazing. Pulled back to minor support. Had a little sideways time correction at resistance. Continuing higher today. I suspect because the trend is up, it'll continue to go up. Silver, not so nice looking, big, nasty, wide range bar. You can see over here to the left, kind of then accelerated to the downside and starts rebuilding again. So oil had that down day. Energy stocks had a down day, down to the bottom of the range again, and a lot of overlapping bars and tails. I don't know what this is going to do. I'm very interested to see what it might do, meaning it's now at the bottom of the trading range. And I'm not scrunching this up more, but anyway, let's do this. And we had this wide range bar up. And last week we talked about, if this would stall up here and the transports would go up, the market would go up. And we saw that happen. And now they've collapsed back down again. So far the week isn't over. There's a support. So it's just at this spot where you can't really say, these time frames, which way it might go. It could flip up. It's likely, I think, to go back down here because that's where it would make sense to buy it again. But if this breaks below here, something bad, I think, I guess related to the economy. But if the other thing, if somebody, you hear this, see this thing now, Biden saying, if Israel doesn't, something about humanitarian things, I forget exactly. I didn't read the whole thing. I read that they're going to hold arms from Israel. This guy, I guess because he's not going to be the president, and he's letting that clown take the seat to run. I mean, I don't know. You're supposed to be so tight, and you make that kind of threat. These people started it. Israel's going to finish it one way or another. All right. Spiders. There's your reversal bar. Fill the gap. No real damage done. I mean, you get red bars and uptrends. There's no real damage done. It's hanging here today. We may have, you know, truly, it was 2 days. I was saying maybe we'd have a quiet day, right? Neither one of them turned out to be quiet. And so I'm going to say it again. Maybe today's going to be quiet because we got this economic news tomorrow. And, everybody had a little bit of a negative surprise with this move. And maybe traders, everybody has to catch their breath. And so we'll see what happens there. SPX, when a move like that, things shift around a lot. So this came down a whole lot and tagged one of the numbers. Um, those big open interest strikes moved from yesterday. So I think the put strike would be the no-brainer today. I think they both could be no-brainers. So you got large open interest in front of the call strike, and you've got large open interest in front of the put strike, and there's a bigger distance here. So I didn't write down both numbers, but the strike right neck below this and the strike just above this has almost the same open interest. It's significant. So the markets, if they're going to move around, they're going to play ping pong somewhere between here and here today. That's my belief, just based on those big bets that are out there. So give you a reference as to, just besides what's on the chart, we're looking at, pivots to where you have reference points. Yeah. So the real nasty was in the semiconductors, and Dan thought it was a little humorous yesterday that I wasn't aware of the stock that created all of this nastiness. But anyway, I didn't pay so much attention to the news, and I didn't know. So big nasty red candle stopped on the 20 MA, and we've got a pivot there. There's other pivots. Likely this is going to result, I believe, in some chopping around. It's up here. So we're very interested to see if semiconductor stocks can regroup, after what occurred yesterday. Financials still looking good. I forget which one is up on reported earnings. The banks report their earnings, first. And so that's gapping up. It's extended. It's probably going to chop around. Goldman Sachs yesterday, was the big gap up, and, came careening back down into the gap fill and went even further. And KRE, did great. Got backed off at the end of the day, but look at the size of the move. It just makes sense. So there's still a lot of good things going on. But there was some nasty yesterday, especially in tech land. So we're going to measure how far this gets, on the bearish side, or not. Remember what I said yesterday? Maybe this thing needs to play some catch up, since it is such a mess. It was down here. Maybe eventually, retailers start to break out, and sooner or later, everything's going to come together where, the internals and different sectors and such are going to come together. So far we got a red bar. We can't get too excited about a red bar getting bearish. So sentiment is still relatively neutral. Equity put call ratio, kind of, I don't know if it rolled over a little bit. Yesterday I talked about this little head and shoulders pattern. I said, we'll see if it actually rolls over or not. Breath is neutral. Breath yesterday, for a nasty day, you can see it's a 7. So if breath was a minus 2,000 or a minus 1,500 or so, I'd be a lot more respectful for that red bar that formed yesterday. So what this tells me is that the selling wasn't very broad based. Now, to some degree, a lot of stocks did pull in, because when you have a day like yesterday, buyers tend to pull away. But as far as based on this measure, it wasn't such a terrible day. And so when you look at, KRE or financials or whatever, there are stock. It wasn't just, no place to hide, so to speak. Sometimes we say, there's just no place to hide. Everything was going down. Bios held up relatively well. And yeah, energy obviously didn't with oil coming down. But that wide range bar, can it regain that? So we say those questions as to gives us something to look for tomorrow as to, does this recover? Do semiconductors recover or not? How much do they recover? And we make these, assessments day by day as to uh, how bullish or bearish or neutral and where the opportunities are. And that's it. Transports. And then I'll hand it over to Dan. You know, they broke out. They broke out. Not new all-time highs, but they cleared these highs and got knocked back down in. So, we got red days, and we'll see what happens, as I said. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. And don't forget, today, MT Live
Yeah, MT Live today.
turns. Greg, I was actually thinking why I should have had fewer slides today because it's such a good topic that whatever chart you pull up on any time frame, you can talk about turns. Look, here's one here. There's one. Here's a 2-week turn, bottoming tail turn. So yeah, it's a great subject. But then you got to combine turn with a pattern, of course. Yeah. Let's see. I'm assuming roll. YouTube asking about this short. Yeah, it's a sell setup on a downtrend. Sure. Yeah, I'll put it on the list. AZTA kind of has the feel of a bio. You might want to check that out. Sector. All right, same drill. Let me look at alarms, then earnings, then interest list. Alice top alarm went off, bottoming pattern. A Mer, Alex gave me pre-market, another little sell setup. I like the breakdown. I like the converging 20 and 200. I like the downtrend on the weekly. So looks good. Club M, we're actually in. I had a down alarm go off here. Hope that's not real. And then Blaze, low alarm. Again, I don't see anything. I'll come back to it. We're in this with a stop under, I think yesterday or Monday, whatever. Check the sheet. All right, earnings. UAL earnings and some buyback. This is one I said in the green room. I was hoping it would gap up to $70. Then it would be a gap in crap. Full opening flat, no interest. IBKR, another one. I was hoping it would gap up $10. Now 149. Still is a bear. Call credit spread idea. Let me get rid of this else. So that's not bad. So instead of gapping up $10 and failing, it's a bearish gap and has a void. So that's step one. I got myself a good tier one candidate here. Step two, I got to see what it does in the first 30 minutes. See if it sets up the way I want. What if it, just blasts to the lows, then I'm not chasing it? What if it fills the gap in 30 minutes? Then I have no interest in it because in the bearishness did not follow through. But you all on YouTube, you got to be in our green room to get all this updated information. OMC 101, bearish gap, call spread idea, gapping up, JB Hunt. No interest, but that should help the transports out a little bit. It's a crazy move. We'll come back to you. MS for Alex. Wow. 1016. Oh, okay. So I didn't get to this yet. Oh, I didn't even have MS on my list here. This says earnings pre-market. It's a bullish cap, but I don't see any tradable pattern right away. Pang. Now this would have been a bottoming pattern or even a gap trade, had a gap just above yesterday, but now, now all this is resistance. So it's see, bottoming patterns, we start out when we do MT live saying, look, it's a consolidation on a downtrend. And then we teach what to look for to say, okay, it's ready to break out. So this now with the gap was a multi-month consolidation and a downtrend. It looks horrible. Yeah. I don't see a pattern. EPAC. I mean, there's no volume, or else the chart would be printed here. AS, ASML. Ah, okay, yeah. So this one's down another, well, it was down $30. I sent it's 700. I sent out a telegram alert saying it's down from 880. Still no pattern. But yeah, this is what caused the tizzy and the semis and the markets. They, I guess, had an accidental release or whatever. They were slated to report this morning. Well, actually, it says 1 o'clock Eastern time. Yeah, I guess it's their Dutch company, whatever. But I think it's out already. But I'll be watching it. Things that get creamed and are real companies. I love watching them. See if we can get a stock or option trade. Abbott, no interest. Negated the morning weakness. ELD, gapping near yesterday's high, no good pattern. Put Morgan there. USB, gapping up, it's strong. Breakout daily, weekly, monthly, but no pattern for me. Let's see what I have on this list. This has to be in the news, I think, because I don't know why else I'd be looking at it. KTB. When so many things got whacked yesterday, they need to consolidate. All right, now this Roku is a beautiful example of many things. A bullish consolidation, of moving averages, of red bars ignored, relative strength closing with an engulfing bar with the market's weakness, with multiple time frame alignments, with pre-market holding up here. We're already in it. And I did a put spread into the close, but I will give it as a new put spread. Yeah, I mentioned pre-market that these uranium stocks aren't, oh, you're saying uranium, but also, oh, you mean uranium. Got it, because part of the nuclear power stocks. Yeah, I know SMR I saw moving, that's one of them. Yeah, the FANGs are talking about needing more power. So yeah, let's scan that whole sector. Wow, pre-market here. Apple is weak. We had a beautiful put spread on that we closed at a nice profit yesterday. Microsoft's breaking down on the 15, but big old mess. All right, so Roku to me is a tier one long. We're already in it, but to add, or if you're not in it, then we'll make the decision in real time. You know, UNH got whacked here, and I just saw this one yesterday into the close. This could be a good 30-minute low. Also a no-brainer call spread. I think he's typically very spready. Yeah, it's SMCI's on my list, as you know. 340s. Yep, 20 cents by 140. Yeah, I thought he was always spreading. Yeah, SMCI is on my list. Bottoming pattern, relative strength. Yep. Intel is down. You know, the dog of the sector. I think the news said Qualcomm is going to wait till after the elections. You know, I made a comment about that in the weekend letter about, you know, the presidential election has significant ramifications, not only for, you know, our daily life and all that kind of jazz, but from a tax and regulatory, from a business perspective. You need, you know, you need to know, you need to know. And so Qualcomm's coming out of the closet saying, nope, I'm gonna wait. Cisco got an upgrade, but missed the entry. Look, here's a fantastic example of a turn. And this was the day the entire market did the same thing. I should grab this and the spiders. They broke down, closed with range expansion, multiple bar turn with a void. That is an amazing turn right there. So that's where you should have been in on it and upgrading it, not now. Path, I have an alarm, 1302, another bottoming pattern. Riot Mara, their bottoming patterns. So let's watch those. Index, I don't know what the news is, but look at this poor thing capping down another 20%. You know, this thing runs with Myrna. Cousin. Look at this death trend on Myrna. What did this used to be? Look at that, $490. Incredible. Any thoughts on C? I always have thoughts. No, it's not a good one, David, because this bar is too big, number one. Number two, all this is support, so you don't have a good price void. In fact, it looks like a little scalping long here in the morning. All right, so SMR, that's the ENPH, I think, got a downgrade. Do you all remember when I said if this monthly cracks weekly, I think it has a long way to fall. That's exactly what happened. But no pattern for me. ALZN. I got onto this newsletter stock tip thing that I saw on Facebook just because I like to see what crap people put out. And if it's, you know, I get lucky and there's something I like, then you know, then fine. And so this guy was pumping this morning. I mean, at least it's on support in a bottoming pattern. So you know, I give him that. It's a bio though. Nothing doing there. Trump, they're talking about this thing has been, you know, rising with him doing better on the polls. A tick over 1,000. Greg, that is unusual with the markets opening flat to have 1,000 ticks. And the AD line 1,400. But that is related to what you said. pre-market about the AV line holding extremely well yesterday. All right, so anyway, this thing is a call spread idea, 30-minute low. All right, out, hey, oust, 5, 10, 15, 30-minute high. That's a bottoming pattern. Cores, there's a little 1, 2, 3, 4. I got an alarm. And this was the sell setup the guy mentioned on YouTube. Let me set an alarm 44.90 for now. Let me go through my alarms here. 5 in. 5 in, we're in already, but looks good. Oh no, I think I killed it, but I left it on my list. Yeah, I think I killed it yesterday to small profit when I was in, management mode. This little mature we've been in for a while. It's a slow mover. Q's selling off here, I guess, with the fangs. Meta selling off harder. Semi is down a little, but pretty flat as of now. That Roku I told you was a tier 1 of mine. Roku tier 1 trade. We're already in it, but it looks fantastic. Let me check what the juice is on the put spread now. Like I said, I'm already in it early. Yeah, I'm up huge now, so I'm up huge. So unless I give one for next week. All right, Alex, I noticed that a Mur came back. So it did, it didn't fall like it did here, which is better. If it were down here at 817, it would have fallen too much. 8 out. Yeah, yeah. We got out break even, but yeah, I remember suggesting to you to try to go into um, what does Greg call it? Intelligent hope mode yesterday. Snap, low alarm. We have long calls. SMCI looks great. Let's give it maybe 30-minute high. That's IBKR. Yeah, it's too whippy right now. SMCI here looks great, but I'm not doing anything right now. Pub M. Oh, good. So the Pub M it was a false alarm pre-market. False alarm when it said it was gapping down. Yeah, 5 in here, 30-minute high maybe. I'll set an alarm 30 spot 80 now. ABBV. Alex, you're funny. Yeah, Yeah, it looks great. It's an igniting gap. Big old boy, big old topping pattern, like the conversion 2050. I like the breakout failure. I like the range expansion. Yeah, we could have gotten $1 ago, but yeah, I like it. Let me put it here at 10:30. Let me look at fall spread. And that would be the 196 or higher. The 195s are 13 cents. It's ridiculous. All right, Roku came slamming back. I covered my put spread into that strength. Man, the AD line, 1386. What the heck is causing this? Oil bouncing robustly. You like that term, Sam? I just made up. Transport's ripping here. I told you JB Hunt might help. So you can check some cousins there. BFAM. Your other one's better because this one has this bottoming tail. Same general flavor, but your other one is better. Yeah, look at SMCI whipping around bottom right. Snap low alarm. We're still in it, but I don't obviously like alarms against us. So snap, our stop is under that WRB 1054, but it does not look good. It ain't going to 485 in a straight line. No, Roberto, not that at all. I would say 475 to 480 would be a beautiful target. You know, it's gonna have a major bumping its head over here. AZTA alarm. This was on the YouTube guy. Weekly, monthly in alignment. Doesn't have a big void on the monthly, but that's okay for a swing trade. I have SMCI other computer. Let me put AZTA here. Let me see what sector it's in also. Yeah, I'm not liking longs here. Just like, remember yesterday? I mean, it's a different morning, but I still was very reluctant. AZ, AZTA, medical instruments. All right, kind of have a medical feel to it. It's right here at these prior lows, but let's ideally it chops around and we can short a 30-minute low. VIX new high. So Sammy, remember you were flagging one of your indicators about, the correlation with VIX and the spiders? I'm kind of feeling the same way today. How can you have a VIX breaking out with AD line at 1300? So it's like something's off here. I mean, the VIX is a buy setup after breakout from a bottoming pattern with a bullish 15. It's a bullish chart right there. ASML.
You've got a lot of transports and FedEx is up.
Yeah, but those are very small number relative to 1300 AD line.
You got financials up, Citibank's up.
Yeah, I mean,
That
financials are there's there's probably like 800 financials. So yeah, that one to me makes a whole lot more sense because you got so many mid-sized banks in the IWM.
a lot of oil.
Yeah, oil, I see. Yeah, yeah, oil could be helping a lot. Yeah. Yeah, I see these things rocking on the 15-minute chart, but the daily is a big yawn, nothing right now. XME is breaking out.
But a
Um,
lot of these things that are up, like oils and airlines, they're extended. So, you know, they're probably, I would think, they may not come down a lot, but they're not gonna, they don't look like patterns that'll continue to go up without some kind of, you know, backing and filling kind of thing.
back up alarm. You know what? Let's take our money and look to re-enter. Wow. Yeah, I didn't miss. I did miss that, but yeah, it hit my low alarm yesterday. I'm like, oh shit, Alex, your Lulu up alarm. Back on a pullback. Um, Lulu, nice comeback. We're gonna call you the comeback kid. So let's give a first, third target. How about the market's weak, so I don't want to be a pig. About 294.50. If the market was firing on all cylinders, I'd be a pig. How many stocks are in MDY? I'm curious.
Looking TC 2000, just click it.
600.
380, 368.
Oh, then maybe yours, Greg, is filtered for volume or something. Because I kind of
Yes, it
remember,
is. It is filtered.
yeah, I kind of remember 600 also. Yeah, yeah, thanks. Sam, can you guess how many stocks are in the Russell 2000? Yes. The hint is Russell. What is Russell's favorite number? Diamond's actually Diamond's on the run here today, at least on the 15-minute chart relative to the cousins. You know, when things get killed like this, I just want them to go down and down and down. The lower the better. Like crowd. Do y'all remember this thing? Just getting pummeled. And then we got our entry. So I hope ASML sells off all, for another 5 days. More the better. And that's where the word more better came from, right, Alex? More the better. Shorthand is more better. And you always thought McGraw just had bad English. All right, so Greg, we only have a third lot of this call. I know it's not a pattern that I would give as a new trade, but I think for adding to improve cost basis, we should do a third. What do you think of that logic? You must be out or not want to answer.
I'm looking to see, is that I don't see that as an open trade in advisory letter in the swing letter.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's line 15. It comes after the letter O and before Q.
You are on a roll this morning.
I'm trying to help you.
Line 15 on mine is GNRC.
Well, it's because you're on the wrong page, is why. It's
Is
an
it a swing?
it's an ETF.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Paul is the Palladium ETF. Well, our IAI gapped up again. Broker dealers. Wowzer. And Alex, we got this from you. I give you credit. Very nice. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, one thing is on a tear. Yeah, our XLF, my up alarm went off.
You can
I,
add to that, yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Done. Say 93, 98. All right, Greg, what do you think of this AZTA under the low? Came from the YouTube guy. Well, Alex, it's only 951. What's average? Average looks totally fine. Couple million.
Yeah, well, it's okay. I mean, if the 5 minute was dots and dashes, then I'd say for sure don't do it.
Right. That's my default of when I look at volume. Is on the 15 is not liquid.
I don't, you got to put the stop above the topping tail bar, maybe a little further. So I don't know that this will make, it might keep going down. I don't know. It's close to that pivot low. You could do it, you know.
Watching this oust bottoming pattern, but I'll just set a new alarm now. It's not doing anything. You're a myrrh. I'll set a new alarm. 8:30. AI is still falling from yesterday. XLF up alarm. SMCI, I'll set a new alarm. 4880. Man, we managed that Apple put spread nicely this yesterday. Wow, that's a little Bear Island reversal now. And your ABBV here. Put it on fine. Greg, what do you think of this? You'd love these 5-minute sell setups on ABBV.
Sam mentioned it earlier. Yeah,
That's why I'm asking you now. Do you like the
yeah,
entry now?
yeah. If it doesn't take out, can take out the low, or if it fills the gap, like that one the other day, could be a gap fill entry.
No, what I'm asking you right now, look at the 5-minute. Do you want it under the prior bar's low? It was a sell setup.
Um, yeah, you got to use still the same stop.
Of course.
Sure.
189.92.
So let me just, you never know what's going to happen, but with these
I
things,
don't do that.
I like it to come up here
I know.
or form a pivot. At least form a pivot.
Right.
Going to be two more bars. And
Mm-hmm.
definitely if it's a retest. So if you do it under there in a starter position,
Mm-hmm.
and then we see if it develops further for an intraday. That's from an intraday point of view. If you're going to do it as a swing and you're going to put your stop up there, don't really matter much. You can still, as a starter, and then add as it develops.
Greg, remember, told you I was keeping a third of this. So now
Okay.
968. Alex, I just noticed the IMMR, we already have long puts on it. So, and I'm sitting here watching it as a new short. And Greg, here's another one. I kept a third, but at least we can raise the stop now. 1, 6.